my parents got a divorce, it felt like that to me because it felt like I was in the middle of it and that I was just lost because it was my fault and stuff.
When I was about, I think, 6 or 7. Well, when I was that age, I was worried about basically that I wasn't going to see my parents all the time and that one of them was going to just move away and I wouldn't be able to see them, or that me and my sister would get separated.
So when my parents got divorced, I felt like my heart was broken because I was really sad.
The hardest thing was I didn't see my dad for a while.
Yeah, I'm worried and scared.
You just think, what do I do? How can I stop it? I just thought that my family wasn't going to be together for the rest of my life. I didn't hope that they would get a divorce.
Children, they know more than we think. They know what hurts and they know what helps. Divorcing parents give plenty of advice from family, from friends, from lawyers, from counselors. But if you want to hear from the real experts on divorce, you don't have to go far. You can simply sit in your living room or on a playground and listen to your children. The truth of what they need is already within them, just waiting for permission to be shared.
Probably the worst moment of my life.
I remember my dad sat me down and he told me. I just started crying and crying. Other than that, I think I was kind of in such shock that I don't really remember anything else.
That's a big worry, not seeing a parent and just losing all those memories and losing the fun things you do as a family. Just never being able to do those things again.
Well, like some kids, they'll think that they don't have a family, so they'll like try to go be cool and be at the gang and stuff, and like then that they'll think that that's the only family they have and that's all they can hang around with.
You could be, 16 when the divorce happened and 46, 46 years later and have a nervous breakdown because you never dealt with those feelings of anger and abandonment,
Society in general tries to pretend like that nothing's wrong. I mean, even though 50% of marriages get divorced, society still treats it like it's the mom, the dad, the kids, the 2 kids, and the cat and dog. It's not like that. And I think just a reality check on their part in general would be very helpful.
One of my parents left our home, and I felt like she didn't really want me, but it wasn't really true. She really did, but it was really hard for her. It was almost as hard for her as it was for me.
You just feel angry and upset and sad that your 2 parents who you thought loved each other so much are really fighting now.
Well, there's like a lot of kids that are blaming themselves for stuff that they didn't do, and it's not really their fault. It's just that their parents are having like a hard time and like are not making it right now, so that they are gonna split up. That was my fault. Why? Because I wasn't obedient, and I was supposed to do the things I was supposed to do. And
I think kids really feel responsible, for the fighting or whatever goes on, that I've known or been in contact with, because they really, feel like they maybe caused it, some way, somehow, and that doesn't even have to be communicated to them. I mean, I'm sure any decent parent wouldn't tell them that they've caused the divorce, but the only reason I think kids think that is because the parents don't tell them that.
No, I remember them telling us that it wasn't our fault, and that's like one of the first thing they said.
See, first they have this argument, and so one of them leaves and the other one stays with the children. And so the kids are wondering if it's because of them that the parents don't want to take care of them. So they're wondering if they're the problem.
Probably the most important thing, more than talking to them, is probably more important to listen to them, because what they have to say is probably, well, it is very important.
I think it's so hard for a kid to approach their parent because, I don't know, I've talked to my friends about this, who've gone through divorce, and, it's odd for my friends and I to talk about it. It's just hard to talk unless someone starts talking to you. And I just think it alleviates all the burden and, of you asking. And if the parents come up and, initiate it all, I think it's just a lot easier.
Ask specific questions, because the general questions are too easy to answer fine. I mean, still, when I come home from school, my mom asks, how was school, and I just walk past, fine, I'm going to get something to eat or whatever. But if you ask specific questions, like, well, how are you feeling about this? Or what are you thinking about this? And be specific about the situation that you're wondering about. Because just how are you doing doesn't cut it, because the child may be feeling fine, but really they're not.
Well, parents should come to the kids and tell them that they love them and they are able to love both their children. The child's going to feel a lot less confused and frustrated, and they're going to feel loved, and they feel that they can love each of their parents.
My mom and dad had fights when I was little, and it's still in my brain, all the things that they fought about and everything.
I think that when parents fight, it ruins the whole family, because when they fight, the kids hear it and they think it's their fault because they didn't do anything. They can't do anything because they're small, and when they try to do something, the parents just yell at them, tell them to go to the room or something, and then when they sleep, they think about it, and they think that the parents don't love them no more, and so they get scared, and that's why children are unhappy all the time.
Well, if their parents are arguing, they won't think that their parents love each other, and so they'll think they don't love them because the parents don't love each other really. They'll think that.
Well, they'd been yelling at each other so much and just arguing and not really having a really conversation that they both really meant what they said. They sat down and really talked like civilized people. They would talk and express their feelings and say what they meant, and they got it done a lot better than if they had just gone out and yelled at each other.
The kids that they love them and tell them that they love them and take them places.
Some kids think like, oh, my parent will never love me. And it's like a picture that I saw, and it says, when you feel like hope is gone, just ask for some love and you'll get it. Parents need to let you hear kind, loving words about you and about your family, how much they love you.
If you know that your parents just can't live with each other, but if they love you for what you are, then you're going to love them back, and you're going to appreciate what they have to do for you. And if it's possible, if the parents can remain friends, not close, but if they can, so you have a positive attitude, and if you can say, well, I can love both my parents, and they both love me, and, then everything's a lot easier.
Showing them that they care, saying stuff like they love them, and stuff like they're the best kid mother or father could ever have.
You've heard it a million times, but if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. Well, you've really got to live by that in divorce, because if you could replace all that negative energy that you spend criticizing, the other parent, I think, and just put it into spending more time with, the kids, like me, and I think that'd be the greatest thing, and also finding positive things about the other parent.
It's like taking sides again, and have to choose between two of the parents, having to say, oh, well, Dad said this, so I guess I better like Mom, instead of liking both of them and loving both of them and appreciating each of their qualities.
When children hear negative comments about either their mother or their father, it feels like a part of them is also being criticized. Kids know that they're a part of their father and a part of their mother.
Well, you really are a part of your parents, no matter, where you are. Some teenagers don't think so, and I don't know. I don't like to believe so sometimes, but you're still very much a part of your parents. No matter how much you try to get away from her, or how much you try to be like them. It is really hurtful because parents, are role models. I think, parents really are heroes, truly. But if another parent is criticizing your hero, your parent, then it's really, it's a horrible thing if someone is criticizing the person you look up to most. That's the most hurtful thing about parents, talking bad things about other parents.
One's going to be paying child support to do that because kids put money and love together, that they don't care enough about me to give us child support so that we will be able to live.
I think child support it's one of the key things because, for me, when my dad doesn't pay child support, I just feel neglected.
If he was here, I would tell them that sometimes I get really angry at him for never coming to visit me, and that I wish he'd come and visit more and invite me to spend the night more.
I just tell him that I miss him, and I wish we could hear from each other more often.
And our father really supports us well.
He's really generous.
We never worry about money or anything like that.
They wonder because they're wondering why they're not seeing him every day like they used to.
I would have liked to see my dad more, but when he was around, my mom always accommodated it, so I never had to make an effort to see him. He was just, whenever he was in town, he was over, or we were doing things with him. It was never a thing of him getting time to see the kids. And so the divorce, after it happened, and I guess a adjustment period, it was forgotten. It was just a situation, and it was never brought up really.
At all possible can keep, the arguing and keep the kids out of it. That is, I'm sure, definitely the best way to go.
I think it really helped me because they didn't fight in front of each other, so that's the thing to remember.
Or write letters to them, those things, so they know that they're still there for them.
It's just gonna be like the parents are lost and the kids are lost because the kids have all these mixed feelings and the parents don't know how the kids feel. Then I think it's very important that the parents know how the kids feel so the parents can try and help them feel better.
Well, they can talk it over with themselves and then talk it over with the whole family to let them all know what's happening.
Well, I think they should be able to communicate with their kids. And I think that the parents should let the kids know that they still love them and that they still care about them. Give them attention. Make sure they don't feel like it's their fault. And always make sure that they know what's going on.
They can be able to say, well, Dad can help me with this and Mom can help me with this, so they don't feel like they just have to like one of them.
My dad was kind of a Disneyland dad, for my words. He just bought things for awards or other things. He was never there. And I just think they shouldn't divorce their kids once they get divorced, but don't divorce the kids.
Divorce isn't that bad. If you really know about it, then you know your parents still love you.